have that it's Friday song stuck in my head because it's Friday. Oh god, that was an awful song, but fuck, it was funny. Yep, still got that dry cough. So, any advice today? Don't sleep with a heater. One of those grill plate heaters or something that, yeah, they just they dry out your throat. Oh, I see you. Alright. Wasn't too sure what to talk about today. For my brain is kind of stuck at work and just generally just life at the moment, so trying to think anything past that was gonna get a bit hard. But as I sat on the bike, I actually thought about a topic and a few questions. Is what is actually practical to ride here in New Zealand? And they have a lot of mates who go, oh, they really want to break out and stuff, and I'm like, I love a breakout, don't get me wrong, and I just don't think they can handle corners here as well. You know, they're very low bikes, and we have a lot of potholes, a lot of sharp cornering, uneven surfaces around those corners, and then we've got a lot of speed bumps here when you come into town. And oh, hear that sound. Whew. So good. But yeah, so breakouts to me, like I've actually talked to a few other people who had breakouts and told them, and that's where I got this information from, is they just said that they cannot handle those corners. You can handle those corners fine, you can go around them, but you have to go so wide and angle it properly, and it just, you can't, like, I've heard stories of their frame actually scraping on the pavement. So, and then the exhaust, and that's like $2,000. So all those things, you know, I'm like, ouch. Because I remember when I had the Road King, it was a lot higher off the ground. You know, I had to kind of be on my tippy toes, and I was going to get it lowered, and every single mechanic said, don't do it. You will do it for 2 weeks. You'll be back in to undo it. They said it's like one of the best heights that they ever came out with. And I was like, really? And I said, yeah, come. And they showed me one of the newer Road Kings. At this stage, that would have been 2022 maybe? 2023, no, it must have been 2023. And I sat on one with my feet straight down, and I'm like, oh. And I said, yeah, like even that, like that's not bad. It's not worse than the other ones, but even that's a bit too low for here in New Zealand. I'm like, oh, okay. And I have to say, if you're talking about a logical sense, I would say touring bikes, not touring bikes, sorry, off-roaders, so adventure bikes, I would say it's probably the number one, probably the most practical bike here in New Zealand, where you could actually explore New Zealand. And yeah. But if you're like me, who not ready for an adventure bike, like I'm not, like I do actually think that some of the newer ones that are coming out are pretty cool. Like the Yamaha ones are actually pretty cool. Even like there's a Honda store, looks pretty cool. But I'm just, I love my Harleys, I love my sound, I love my vibration. So for me right now, nah. And that's it. It's definitely, you still have to go preference over, in some way or form, preference over you know, productivity. You know, just because you're the one riding it, it's got to be something that you enjoy doing. Because like I said in previous videos, this right here is not a cheap hobby. I don't ride every day. Like if I had a car, sweet. I'd love riding every day, don't get me wrong. But I just cannot afford. Like before me and Mrs., I had to do a bike or car. Those were the two options I had. I could not afford both of them. Because the Regger on one of these is like $600 now. Almost. It's not quite $600, but it is very close. And then the servicing, tyre, wear and tear, all that stuff adds up. And then you always want to add things to the bike, cosmetics, that adds up. So, yeah. And then, because you love to ride it, there's also the price of, oh my god. Love it, but I'm getting stuck behind you. You know, to take it out costs you money every time because fuel's not cheap. So, you know, you still have to put in there, like, are you going to want to ride this every day? Do you like the feel? And the only way to know is test ride them, sit on them, have a feel. And sometimes you will buy a bike that you just don't like, and then you're going to have to sell it on. It's the way of the game. But the more you minimise that and actually go out there and test ride bikes and sit on them, the easier it is going to be on your back pocket and your mindset. But yeah, so, but I do have a question. The question I have is, see, Harleys are very, how do you put it, they are built differently, like they're proper steel and stuff like that. Alright, some of them are made in like China and shit, and you get China parts, but I've always found that if I go over a pothole, so when I had a Yamaha Dragstar, I went over a few potholes, and the front forks got bent. I've gone over it in a Victory, and on a Harley, no damage. They just impacted and it hurt me. You know, hurt my hands or hurt my buttocks or my balls, but I didn't actually like feel like my bike was going to flip. And I guess that's where the question comes into it, is for you sport bike riders, because you're such in a front forward motion, your bikes are so light that if you're riding and then you hit a speed bump, are you scared that your bike's just going to do a flip? I'm just genuinely like, what actually happens to you guys when you hit a speed bump? Because we have some really nasty ones over here in New Zealand, like some actual nasty ones. Like we got some nasty road repairs here when it comes to wet roading, or wet riding. But you got some nasty potholes here that I've seen, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to hit that. But if you're trapped, and obviously you guys travel a lot faster than probably a Harley rider does, especially around the corners, because that's your bike, right? You can lean, your lean angles are great. But what actually happens? Like, do you guys just fuck out? Like wow, you guys some. I'm just genuinely curious on what happens. 8:40. I got heaps of time. I'm just genuinely curious on what what happens. And it's yeah, so there is some side of, you know, what one is practical to use and stuff, and high clearance, I think, is definitely one to consider, just because of the cost of repairs if it's not, and the funness of it. Because we're not here in America where you got so many straights here. We've got, like, as soon as you get out of town, you're going to have some sharp corners. You know, I'm heading home in 2 days back more down south, and I know for a fact that there's heaps of sharp corners down there, and really bad potholes. since I know about them, I know kind of what to expect. But yeah, I guess that's kind of like my question is, what happens? Ooh, busy day. Busy. But that sun is trying to come out, but there is a storm brewing over there. Look at those dark clouds. But tell me, like, if you own a breakout, how do you find it? How do you find, like, going around corners? Like, I mean, I've got some mates who can just ride anything. Very skilled. I got a guy that has a very low chopper, really long forks, and that guy can ride around corners. Like, he's not as fast as the rest of us on these type of bikes, but ooh, he can take those straights, those corners pretty well, pretty damn well. But that comes with experience, I guess. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that it's a whole, like, it's quite impressive actually when you see some of these bikes that they just know their bike and they can go around them and they know how low they can go or how wide they need to come. And that's impressive to me. But that's why I tell people who've never even picked up a bike or are thinking of picking up a bike, don't start on a very low bike, because you will hate it. I'm probably going to cut that bit out. That biker, that cyclist was coming straight at me. It's like, oh, are you stopping? Anyway, I'm heading home. There's a green light up there, so I don't have long. If you're out riding today, if you're on your twos, enjoying the sun, safe riding, stay upright, stay sunny side up. Wish you all the best, and if you are just travelling to work on your bike, get home safe and hope you have a good day at work. I will do my best to do the same. Anyway, later.